I think modern dating is really good if you want to get divorced one day. I think it's absolute crap if you actually want to have a healthy marriage.
How so?
Because we're treating other people like they're commodities. We're treating their other people like they're things that we try on for a little bit of time and hope it fits. And maybe if it does, great. And nobody should care about the 40 other people you tried on before they got there. Newsflash, people care. Unfortunately, there's a movement that try to tell, well, it's different for men. It may be different for men in the way that we process things differently from women. That doesn't make it moral. It doesn't make it right. It negatively affects us in different ways than it might negatively affect women, but that doesn't mean that it's positive or it's okay. How do you find the sort of woman that you want to marry? Well, first of all, ask yourself this question. Are you worthy of her? Spiritually, physically, intellectually, emotionally, professionally. Start working on those things at the same time that you're actually going out into the environments where you are most likely to find the sort of woman that you actually want to build a family with.
Sometimes, brother, you want this traditional woman, but your pockets don't allow it, And think about how oxymoronic it is. Well, it shouldn't matter if I have enough money to care for my family by myself. She should still be soft and feminine. She gotta go to work 8 to 10 hours a day. You want her to come home, suck your fix your food, and change diapers. Why you chill? Because you want to be catered to after you done had your woman work 8 to 10 hours a day. Make this make sense. And I know for my broke brothers, I know y'all about to have a problem with what I'm saying. But I just never get how niggas without the pocketbooks to sustain a woman's soft life complain about her not being soft in a relationship. Like she ain't working just as much as you. Like she ain't just as stressed about the bills that you are. And yet you come home and being mad she ain't catered into you. Y'all need to cater to each other, mother.
So many of these modern women, they want a man that's passionate about them. They want a man that shows an intense longing and a desire, an intense longing and a desire for them. And men are saying, after what I just saw, no, you ain't got nothing else to desire. You didn't show it all. Absolutely not.
There's this idea with a lot of young men that they'll hit their prime at 40 and then they can exclusively date young, hot women. I am the young, hot woman trying to date your dad. Let me tell you something. Most of you will not be pulling young, hot women when you're 40.
The reason why men, by the time they're 40, even if they were in their 20s, thinking that in 20 years, they'll be able to just date whoever they want if they're really successful and they build up their life where they want to be. The reason why many of them don't end up dating the 20-some-year-old by the time he's 40 is because, one, he's either married, or two, he has realized that he doesn't want to. And that might be because of a multitude of reasons. I would argue number one, it's because he doesn't want his peace to be disrupted, or he's been there, done that, and lived to regret it. But trust me, you're not going to make him feel bad for not following through on thoughts that he had when he was 20-some years old. Trust me.
How you act when you're jealous, that's what exposes you. All your insecurities are front and center. So when you're jealous, you can either elevate or you can completely break down. You're not crazy for feeling jealous. It's a human reaction. Don't be ashamed of being jealous. But you also don't have to pretend like you don't care. Because listen, this is what happens when another woman flirts with your man. The low value version of you is what truly is reacting. That's the part that actually panics. The woman who knows her worth, she watches. That woman observes. She collects data and lets people be who they are and doesn't try to compete. Like ever. And a high value woman is always unbothered because listen, it's your man who needs to stop the flirting, not you. Because if another man were to flirt with you, I'm pretty sure you're decent enough to say, hey, I have a boyfriend, I'm married, I'm involved, I'm in a relationship. So he needs to do the same here. Your guy, it's his responsibility to stop another woman flirting with him, just like you would do it if it was the other way around.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
80% of men are opting out of dating long term. This guy is like genuinely curious. Like he didn't know this. Like he can't really believe the statistic, but this will make sense.
80% of men are tired of dating. They've decided to opt out of the dating pool. That is different, crazy. But why are you guys opting out of the dating pool? I don't get it. Leave a comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. But 80%, that's a big number. Girls, what are you girls doing to these guys that they don't want to even date anymore?
And this is how people think, unfortunately. And maybe us men are shallow too, but back to the whole looks matters thing.
You are not going to want to be with someone who you cannot look at. Should not be dating someone who you think is not attractive, because I promise you that just means they are not.
And you have a lot of these modern women that are stunned. They're shocked that a lot of men are opting out of dating. A lot of men are walking away, right? And they often chalk it up to, well, the man is probably heartbroken. The man is probably defeated. He's probably bitter. He's stressed. He's this, he's all of that. But really, I think it comes down to a lot of times, a lot of modern women try to put a lot of pressure on men. They try to make a man feel like he's less than. They try to make it seem like a man needs to put up with their inconsistency. A man needs to put up with their chaos. A man needs to put up with their drama. A man needs to allow them to talk to him crazy and disrespect him. Absolutely not.
I do not feel like partners, couples, relationships should move in together until you're married. Because what is the point? Why would you buy the cow if you get the milk for free? I don't think that you should leave a person if you're not in love with her. But if you've never been in love with her, then maybe you shouldn't be with that person. What love really does is it exposes you, all of you. The beautiful parts, the ugly parts, the treacherous parts, the raggedy parts. You really ain't worth parts. Relationships are all give and take. It's trial and error. You find what works and you keep doing more of that. A lot of men have learned to lie because women have enabled them to do so. As soon as a man will tell the truth, we get mad. Oh my God, I can't believe you would say that. Oh my God, this, oh my God, that. So if you want to earn trust, stop going off every time that man tells you the truth. If you're with a man that you don't like right now and you go into this relationship thinking, I can change him, I can make him more compassionate, I can make him more thoughtful, I can make it, you can't. Cut it out.
Should women approach men? If you asked me this question 10 years ago, my answer would be no. However, in today's society, things have shifted, so my answer would be yes. But there is a difference between approaching men and pursuing men, or in other words, chasing men. I believe no matter the circumstances, men should always do the pursuing, the chasing, the courting, whatever you want to describe it as. However, in terms of approaching men, I think today's society, it's okay, and maybe sometimes it's important for women to make that first step. Let me tell you why. Online dating and dating apps have reduced the confidence in men. Ever since COVID and we went into lockdown, this also reduced the confidence in men and also reduced the social behavior and social skills of men. Fear of rejection is getting higher and higher for absolute no reason whatsoever. Due to reduced social skills, men now are struggling to read or understand women and don't know when it's appropriate to approach them or know when a woman is interested in him. And trust me, this is a question I get asked a lot. So to answer your question, is it okay for women to approach men nowadays? Absolutely. However, as long as you are not pursuing or doing the chasing, that is a man's job, and let a man do his job. Women should understand their worth. Isn't their worth a man's effort to chase and pursue? When a man is hungry, he'll stop at nothing to eat. Why can't he do the same for a woman?
And you know, I think modern women they're stunned. They're kind of like uncomfortable that they might have to be the ones to approach now. Why do I have to? What happened to the men? Who's going to be the boys? Well, the boys are still the boys. It's just the boys have learned what to do to stay out of trouble. And, you know, you've said some things, maybe you forgot that. And you've done some things, maybe you forgot that, to make the man feel like, oh, I'm not welcomed. I'm not wanted. My advances, me coming over and talking to them is not wanted. So let me stay back. At some point in time, modern women have to take accountability for what they've done in the dating market instead of trying to heap it all on men.
The psychology of men who stay single for years. Most people assume it's lack of options, but it's usually a pattern built on control and risk avoidance. Hear me out, because what I'm about to say might surprise you. Subscribe for more real psychology topics. When a guy spends a long time single, his brain gets used to full independence, his time, his space, his routines. So anything that threatens that feels like a loss, not a gain. Here's the non-obvious part. Over time, he doesn't just enjoy being alone. He becomes optimized for it, which makes connection feel harder, even if he wants it. So instead of rejecting relationships, he quietly avoids situations that could lead to one. The tactical shift is this. Don't try to force a relationship. Train your brain to tolerate small amounts of uncertainty again. Start by saying yes to low-stakes social opportunities, even when it's inconvenient. That rebuilds your comfort with unpredictability. Because the longer you stay in total control, the harder it becomes to let someone else in.
The fastest way to lose a good man is not cheating. It's becoming his biggest source of stress. He's already fighting the world, work pressure, money, expectations. If home feels like another battlefield, he won't stay long. Men don't leave because someone prettier shows up. They leave when peace disappears. If every conversation is a challenge, every decision is questioned, every moment feels tense, that's not partnership. That's pressure. He doesn't need a competitor. He needs softness where life is hard. Respect where the world doubts him. Loyalty isn't controlled, it's created. So if he's distant, ask yourself, are you his piece or just another problem?
You know, modern women continue to keep themselves single. Well, you know, sometimes it's themselves keeping themselves, it's them keeping themselves single. But then once again, so many times we see modern women lose a good relationship over a toxic best friend. And it's really hard sometimes for these modern women to tell whether this is good advice or not, because genuinely, and a lot of times these modern, their friends have given them good advice in other things, right? So, hey, you know, go out here and take a chance going over here and travel in the world. You might have a good business experience. And they actually go and they actually do have a good time. Business and pleasure, right? I go over there and I see the sights and I learn a different culture and I actually spend a couple years over there, right? Great experience. I learned how to do business in a different country or different language, different city, whatever it might be. And I grew from it. So that was genuinely good advice. But then when you go over here and you talk to them about dating, they having trouble themselves or they haven't really been successful at it. And even sometimes some of these ladies are married and they still be giving terrible advice. They don't really give the detailed advice that their friends actually need. They give the just roundabout way advice to where you're like, what is this going to do? How is this going to help me? And so they actually disqualify men based on how they feel versus what's actually true a lot of times.
I genuinely feel like I have the worst luck when it comes to dating and just like men in general. And I'm starting to think that there are not any good guys. People are like, not all men, there's some good guys. Where are they? Because they're not around me. They're not here. So where are they? And if they are a good guy, they're probably already married and have kids and whatever. I'm just having a little crash out, but I got fully ready. Looked super cute, looked great. Got my car to leave. Plans canceled. Canceling on me. So you're never gonna get the opportunity to hang out with me again. What an L for you. It's hard for me though, because I internalize it. My phone's so it's all laggy. But I internalize it and I say, what's wrong with me? Why do people treat me like this? Why do men treat me like this? And I don't think there's anything wrong with me at this point. It's y'all.
And when you're looking at this, Tom, I saw data today that Gen Z men, 62% of Gen Z men ages 14 to 29 is Gen Z. So go 18 and up to adults. Like, you know, adults, Gen Z. 62% of them have taken themselves out of the dating market. They're not even looking.
62?
62%. You know what it was in 2019?
What?
51%. So it's gone from 51% to 62%. Now, what do you think it is for women, Gen Z women? It's 34%. That means 66 are looking. But men are like, we're out. You know what the average date is today that Gen Z pays for dinner when they take a girl out?
What?
$205. For millennials, it's $259. The average in America is $189. You want a Gen Z to take a girl out for $205? Like, what's $205 after tax money? That's $250, $300 pre-tax money. So think about what they're dealing with today. And we need these guys to be willing to get married, to be willing to have kids, to be willing to date. So it's a little bit of an issue, Brad.
You know, modern women continue to ask, well, why is it that men are opting out of dating? Well, you know, you try being drained of your money, your energy, your resources. Something always got to be expensive. You always got to take them to an expensive place. You try doing that type of stuff for multiple women and see if you like dating. You try paying $150 fee every single time you go out and see how old it's gonna get fast. Even if a man has a date, one date a month, that's $150 bill. That's $150 bill. When the new game comes out, with $150, I could have bought that game and some of the DLC. I could have gone out with the boys, taken myself out. I could have put that money back towards a trip. I could have put that money in my investment account. There's so many things I could have done with that money besides spending on somebody that I know don't like me. That's how a lot of men are thinking now. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just that in a lot of these situations, I'm burning through my money and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Men will literally be like, I'm fighting battles no one knows about. The whole time it's just thoughts.
And believe it or not, even after seeing that, there are still some out there that wonder why the majority of men genuinely choose not to share their thoughts and their innermost, deepest feelings with another person, especially with a woman. Because contrary to what many out there might be thinking, it is usually not men that would make that sort of a joke or downplay a man's mental health or their possible inner turmoils. They are more apt oftentimes to listen to another man if he's going through a struggle. But the ones that are most likely to make a joke are the ones that have been called the most empathetic of the two genders. And that would fall to some women out there. Because in my opinion, some women frankly don't see other men as people. They don't even see them as human beings. And that is unfortunate.
Can't mistreat a good man and then be shocked when he stops being good to you. A good man, he'll take a lot. He'll be patient when you're difficult. He'll stay calm when you push his buttons. And because he keeps showing up, you think he's never going to leave. But what you don't understand about good men is that they don't leave loud. They leave quiet. One day he just stops caring. That's a man who finally accepted that his peace is worth way more than your approval. Good men don't turn bad. They just stop being good to people who punish them for being that way. And that's not a character flaw. That's a man who finally learned that loyalty without boundaries is just self-destruction.
Modern women seem to have no issue. Not one single issue. I don't have an issue telling a man what he needs to be, where he needs to go, how he needs to dress, what he needs to wear, the whole 9 yards. Got a list of things, a diary of things, a group chat. The notes app is full. And that's one note. They go to another note. Say, okay, he's passed maybe 10, 15 things that I want. And now that he's passed these 10, 15 things, here's another 5, 10 things. And now that he's passed those, going into my perfect man, because this was a decent man. Now this is a good man. And now this is a perfect man. And I'm manifesting a perfect man. And now he has to pass, mind you, he's passed what, 10, 15, and now he's down to 5, 10, and now he has to go through 1 to 5 things. Like, you gotta go through 1 to 5 of these things and get him right to be my perfect man. And if you're ultra perfect, this one teensy tiny thing you gotta do. And that's what's clearing a lot of men out of the dating market. They go through the 10 to 15, 5 to 10, the 1 to 5. But then they say, oh shoot, I'm almost there. Who's going to be that one man? I know he's got to be out there. And I'm not going to settle for less. I'm not going to let a good man keep me from my husband. And you actually stay single because that man that was actually perfect for you, that performed the things, the 5 things, the top 5 things that you wanted, You say, okay, now there's one thing, that 1%, that 2%. I want that last 2%. It's got to be there. And you've ruined your chances at having a good companion.
I've begged people to love me the way I love them. You know, and I never want to be that low in life again. And I think, and that's just across the board. Like, that's not just romantic relationships. That's literally like friendships on something like, yo, why would you do this to us? Like, why are you acting like that? I would do anything for you. Sometimes you gotta just be like, you know what? I got it. I'm gonna meet you where you are. I'm gonna meet you where you are. Wherever you put me is where I'm gonna put you from now on, because it's just, it's about being equally yoked. That's what it is. So that's what I'm learning, is just releasing of that and the boundaries that need to be set. No love lost, just access denied. I got a problem setting boundaries with people, especially people that I love and that I see potential in. I got problems setting boundaries with them.
Like friends, family?
Specifically friends.
Really?
Especially friends that I've been friends with for a long time. It's like I can see no wrong in you, but some people be like, over and over again. It's like, how many times are you gonna touch the stove before you realize the stove is hot? Yeah, so now I'm just learning how to like love you, but from a distance. I don't think it gotta be beef. I just think it's a limiting of access. Like, I assess the relationship, determine the new way we're doing things, and adjust the capacity of it. That's where I'm at with it.
Dating nowadays isn't broken, it's the people that are broken. Everybody keeps screaming dating what it used to be. Yeah, no, right? We're all living in an era of options, not standards. Everyone's got 17 maybes, 4 emotional affairs going on, 2 physical distractions, and a situationship at home that's a safety net. And then they still claim they want to be exclusive. People want a relationship with benefits, but they don't want to give the responsibilities that come with it. And these are the same people terrified to ask real questions. You notice that? But brave enough to sleep with someone they barely know. They want soul-tight connection while keeping backup options, just in case, right? Then they turn around and blame social media. That's like putting a car in jail because the driver's drunk. It's not the platform, people. It's the lack of accountability behind the screen. And don't get me started with masculine and feminine. Confused, men scared to lead. They're going to be labeled toxic. Women scared to soften because they've been stuck in survival mode for years. Nobody trusts each other. They trust their trauma response. Everybody wants old school love, right? But nobody wants to do old school work. You want a feminine woman, but you can't even create emotional safety. You want a masculine man, but you punish leadership and reward inconsistency. Make it make sense. See, dating isn't, accountability is. Love isn't rare. Emotional maturity is. You want real connection? Bring back courage, truth, polarity, right? And stop blaming the apps for your problems, okay? That's your character that's causing that.
And you have to also understand, if men are opting out of dating, well, why are you doing that? Well, a lot of men, especially older brothers, older fellas who have been working, grinding, brothers might have been divorced. They might have been divorced already. That had the house. Some of these brothers then gone all the way up, had the house, still got the house, had to rebuild after divorce. And now that man gets himself, because you know money ain't everything, right? But I've used my wherewithal to go back and grind and get what I had before she drained me, right? Took everything I had. I use all of that to get back to where I was. And now I'm a little bit more protective of my peace. I'm a little bit more protective of my lifestyle that I've worked twice, probably 2 or 3 times at that point in time to get back to. And so it's easy for a man to kind of back off and say, you know, once again, I like you. I think you're a nice person, but I worked hard. And you know, a lot of times modern women aren't really giving men the confirmation or the signals that they need in order for a man to feel comfortable going fully into this relationship, or throwing his full weight, attention, and interest into a relationship.
How to flip the dynamic on a man who likes you, but just not enough. These make him rethink everything. You don't argue, you don't explain, you just adjust. When he's inconsistent, you get busier. Men hate a woman who suddenly stops orbiting around them. Men don't notice your worth when you're available. They notice your worth when you stop overgiving. When a man loses emotional access, his ego panics before his heart does. No more laughing at dry texts, and no more treating his maybe like effort. No more acting excited when he shows up. If he knows he can bring you crumbs and you're gonna bake a cake with them, then he'll never bring you the full meal. The biggest flip is when your happiness stops depending on him. You start going out, leveling up, looking good, staying busy. And now you suddenly become the prize again. Instead of getting emotional, say, hey, it's cool. It just feels like we're on different pages. No anger, no begging, just reality. A calm woman who knows what she deserves is scary to a man than a loud woman who doesn't. Ladies, flipping the dynamic is not about playing games. It's about matching energy you should have been matching the entire time. If y'all want me to drop how a man behaves when you pull back, just comment, flip him, and I'll drop it. Peace and love. Like and follow.
Just thinking about it now, like, it must have taken so much psychosis, so much hypnosis, and so much delusion making to get women to believe that they should want a man up in their house. Like, think about it. You are subjecting yourself to living in a space with a man who has the ability to unalive you if you decide to piss him off on a bad day. You know, these men, they have a lot of testosterone. They have a lot of pent-up anger because the world around them tells them they're not allowed to exhibit emotions. So they never know how to emotionally regulate. Men, I mean, their friends are going to call them simps or all these names if they decide to go to therapy and tell their friends about it. And men are never taught to learn how to be social beings because the only thing that they believe they have value in is their ability to work hard and bring home income. So they're not really sociable. So yeah, for women to like be begging and pleading to like live with these men for the rest of their lives, I'm just like, man, that must have taken a lot of psychosis. A lot of psychosis. But then I think there's so many movies out there. It's like a love story, Cinderella, Disney princesses, Hallmark. It is all psychosis. It's all brainwashing. It's all brainwashing because you in your right mind as a woman, you would certainly not live with these men if you had a clear conscience.
Apparently, the feminazis are claiming that wanting to be with men is literal psychosis. And honestly, this explains everything. She said that women have been brainwashed by Disney movies to want relationships with men, and that we're all under some kind of spell. Girl, what are you smoking? This is the toxic programming I've been talking about. Imagine the type of brainwashing it took for you to come to this conclusion. That you believe all men, not just some men, but all men, are just trash, and wanting love is mental illness. But here's what really got me. She's literally generalizing all men as emotionally dysregulated, rapists, abusers, and manipulators. She's claiming that every single man is dangerous and that they all make jokes about and that every woman has been harmed by men. And we can thank selfish feminist propaganda for this one. This woman is so delusional, first of all. Second of all, imagine the psychosis one must succumb to be brainwashed by this man-hating ideology where you genuinely believe half the population is evil. I get it, girl. I used to think like this too. I genuinely believed that meeting anyone, especially a man, made me weak. But you know what that mindset actually gave me? Loneliness, bitterness, and a complete disconnection from my feminine nature, and I was quite insufferable. The real psychosis is convincing women that love and partnership are the enemy. We weren't meant to do life alone. Stop letting toxic ideology rob you of the relationships you actually want.
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious?
Hey, I just wanted to say, really beautiful, and I'd love to take you to dinner sometime.
No thanks.
Okay.
That's it? You're not gonna try to convince me?
But you said no.
Yeah, but no can mean yes.
If I want to play games, I got a Nintendo at home, so you're good. Thank you. Have a great day.
But I love Nintendo.
Hi, my family. This is how men are creepy. Men become creepy when they cannot read a woman and how she feels. When they lack the emotional intelligence to know when a woman is not interested. Because women are less vocal, they are more about the vibes. You can't exactly blame men though, because a lot of them are told to chase women, to apply pressure, so they end up ignoring disinterest. A man should show interest, but never chase. To not be creepy, show interest, and if there are negative vibes, a lack of interest, no reciprocation, hostility, then let her be and move on, because it shows that you understand she feels uncomfortable. It is about emotional safety, feeling safe being around or next to a man, feeling safe interacting with him and trusting him. I always try to be friendly at first, but I look like a fuckboy, so a lot of them get uptight. So I let them be and ignore them. I go away and give my energy to the people that are friendly back. Most of the time they end up softening and feeling safe in my presence. I show them that I am emotionally safe to be around. A lot of my friends would always try to make me chase women and be like, why didn't you talk to her more? She's so pretty. But over time I realized they just lacked emotional intelligence. Because I realized when I stayed present, warm and inviting, they would feel safer opening up to me. I've never done this out of manipulation. I simply follow the rule of putting my energy where it is reciprocated. Because that is real emotional intelligence. Being able to read the room and know where your energy is welcomed. Watch my YouTube for more one-on-one calls in the bio. Drizzle.
A submissive woman actually controls the man, and the internet has turned submission into something weak, when in reality, it's one of the most powerful dynamics in a relationship. See, submission isn't about a woman having no voice or no intelligence or no influence. It's about understanding how influence actually works. Smart women understand something that many men don't notice until it's too late. A man's direction is often shaped by the environment that's around him. The woman that he respects can calm him down when his emotions are high. She can encourage him when he's doubting himself. She can quietly guide his thinking without ever having to fight him for authority. That's real power. Because a man who feels respected will move mountains for the woman who gives him that feeling. He'll work harder, he'll protect more, he'll become more disciplined. But the influence didn't come from control or conflict. It came from how she positioned herself in the relationship. That's why some women can completely stabilize a man's entire life without ever raising her voice or trying to compete with him. And you'll see it in real life all the time. A man who is reckless suddenly becomes focused. A man who is lost suddenly finds direction. A man who used to move carelessly suddenly becomes more thoughtful about his decisions. Respect is the language most men understand best. When a man feels that from a woman, it doesn't make him weaker. It actually makes him want to be the type of man worthy of it. And that's why the most powerful women in a man's life are often not the loudest ones. They're the ones who understand how to influence a man without having to fight him for the role that he already believes that he has.
Hi, my family. This is how men are creepy. Men become creepy when they cannot read a woman and how she feels. When they lack the emotional intelligence to know when a woman is not interested. Because women are less vocal, they are more about the vibes. You can't exactly blame men though, because a lot of them are told to chase women, to apply pressure, so they end up ignoring disinterest. A man should show interest, but never chase. To not be creepy, show interest, and if there are negative vibes, a lack of interest, no reciprocation, hostility, then let her be and move on, because it shows that you understand she feels uncomfortable. It is about emotional safety. Feeling safe being around or next to a man. Feeling safe interacting with him and trusting him. I always try to be friendly at first, but I look like a fuckboy, so a lot of them get uptight. So I let them be and ignore them. I go away and give my energy to the people that are friendly back. Most of the time they end up softening and feeling safe in my presence. I show them that I am emotionally safe to be around. A lot of my friends would always try to make me chase women and be like, why didn't you talk to her more? She's so pretty. But over time I realized they just lacked emotional intelligence. Because I realized when I stayed present, warm and inviting, they would feel safer opening up to me. I've never done this out of manipulation. I simply follow the rule of putting my energy where it is reciprocated. Because that is real emotional intelligence. Being able to read the room and know where your energy is welcomed. Watch my YouTube for more one-on-one calls in the bio. Drizzle.
The art of gentle approaching. Here's a scenario for you that has probably happened to you, and if not, it's probably going to happen to you. You try to plan a date with a girl. She tells you that she has so much going on, but she would love to, maybe next week. First, let's break down what she is telling you. She's telling you she is open to the idea of going on a date with you. However, she is so overwhelmed right now that she can't entertain the thought of actually planning something, making it come into fruition right now. So what you don't want to do is wait the week and then text her something like, hey, hope everything went well, let's plan that date now. If you do that, you will probably be getting ghosted. The reason why you will be getting ghosted is because it comes across to the girl like you don't care how anything went for her, you don't care how she's feeling, she's probably still overwhelmed, and you're just overwhelming her even more. Now what you do want to do, you want to wait the week, text her saying, hey, how's everything going? How are you feeling? Any progress? Something like that. Something that says, I'm not putting anything else on your plate. I'm just here to check in on you and you can let me know how you're doing. You can vent. That will draw her into a conversation. It will draw her towards you. Then after say a day or two of texting and letting her vent and catching up, that's when you bring back up the date. At this point, you're able to bring up the date because she knows that you can kind of hold her stress for her. So she's not going to feel like you don't understand anything she's going through and that she is setting things aside to go out on the date with you. She will also feel like you care about her, which even though it's early, that is a nice thing. And it's going to make her want to go out of her way to go on a date with you.
Modern women really, they're not serious. They always have something silly to say. Well, how come I can't get a man to take me seriously? This goes beyond joking, right? Because you can have fun, you can be silly. You know, that's just who she is. She's just a goofy person. She just likes to have fun. She just likes to cut up. That's just who she is, right? If that's not your personality, leave her alone. That's one thing. What we have today is modern women cackling and being silly in a man's face when a man is trying to approach. And not only do they act silly and immature, they continue it instead of saying, no, we just playing. What's going on? There's one woman in the gym, man came up to her, you know, maybe he could have said something a little bit better. Maybe he could have approached a little bit better. He didn't do anything weird. But, you know, maybe he could have said some stuff better. Her friend jumps in, starts cackling and doing all that other stuff. And instead of saying, no, I'm sorry, go ahead. You know, this is your moment. And really, you know, being genuine about it. You know, maybe you give him a good natured ribbing. Hey, you remember when you said that to Chloe? And, you know, just kind of bust out laughing. And, you know, you just kind of roast them a little bit and go on about your business. Men can take that. What men don't want to be involved in anymore is being the butt of the joke every single time. And they really didn't even do anything wrong. It's not worth it, man.